So camera's still rolling, audio's rolling, and we're good.
Welcome to Marketing Mondays with Meg. This is the place business owners go to get honest, practical, and smart marketing advice. I'm Meg Hewer, an award-winning marketing and brand strategist, and I'm glad you're with us today. Joining me in studio is my producer, Matt Heyer from Berg Brothers Media.
Always good.
Thanks for being here again.
Of course.
So today we have a great show. We're going to be talking about social media, and we're going to be concentrating on Facebook. And I want to introduce you to my guest today because not only is she an outstanding social media marketer, she is also my very dear friend. This is Catherine Harrell, and she owns a social media marketing company called Marble and Match. And a few years ago, she started the business. What year did you start?
It's been almost 5 years now. So
wow. I didn't realize it's been that long.
I know.
And when she started the business, she was on her own and it really took off. And so her husband, Ben, who was working for a major consumer brand, actually left his very good job to join her in the business. So together they run Marble and Match now. So Catherine not only knows social media, but she's also a brilliant business mind. She has had 2 businesses on her own before this. Well, this is her second business. And then she started or helped start a very successful nonprofit, called the Education Partnership, something that's near and dear to both of our hearts, a nonprofit we really support. So I've worked with Catherine on several projects. She is the ultimate professional and she really understands the social media space. So I'm going to stop talking and introduce you to her. Welcome, Catherine Harrell.
And this is over. The show's done. Thank you. Thank you so much, Meg, for having me. I echo everything Meg said. She's also an amazing marketer, and I'm so happy to be here on this show. It's exciting, and I'm always excited about talking about social media. So thanks.
I know, and you're the best at it. So
for having me.
Tell us how you got here.
As Meg said, my husband and I started Marble and Match roughly 5 years ago. When we first started, we were kind of doing everything. When you start a new business, frankly, you're just trying to survive. You're trying to pay your bills. Sometimes you look at each other and say, Are we crazy for doing this? That was said many times in the early years. Didn't sleep a lot in the early years, but we cast a really wide net when we first got started. We were doing all sorts of different types of marketing. And so when I think about maybe some of the people listening to this show today, I really feel for them because when you're taking on marketing for the first time, not only for clients as we are, but even for your own business, it can feel really overwhelming. You sometimes don't know where to start. You're doing a lot. Maybe you're not doing all of it so well. You're really spreading yourself thin. So for us, we really zeroed in on social media and more the digital marketing because for us, we really love the data side. My husband's a brilliant data analyst. So it was really measurable. And that was exciting for us because a lot of marketing, it's wonderful, it's important, it's working. But with social media and digital, you really can see a lot of the results in what you're producing and the dollars you're spending, see that return on investment. So clients kept coming back to us month after month, needing more support for social media. And so we settled in nicely into that space and haven't looked back. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. And one of the things you said that I think is important is that you can see the results, but we can also then tweak things, right? So a lot of times, if you do more of a traditional media campaign using TV or something, let's say, and you put a commercial out there, it's really expensive to produce. You do it once. If it's not working, you kind of just keep doing it. Where with social media, you can look at that and say, hey, this isn't doing what we thought it was going to do. Let's tweak this and quickly make changes and run with it. And I think that's part of the beauty of it.
Well, right. And it's a lower risk channel because you can publish something and let's just say, worst case, you got someone's title wrong or the date was incorrect on an event you published. You can literally go in a minute and fix it, update it, and most people won't even know the wiser. So it's a very manageable platform. I think a lot of people feel intimidated by social media, but hopefully after this show, we can kind of lessen some of those fears or worries because it is a truly flexible platform, like you said. So it's great. And our agency, at least at this point in time, we're producing anywhere from 600 to 700 ads a month for all of our clients, kind of in different industries. So we've had a really great opportunity to test different types of ads, see what works, see what doesn't work. But the platform, especially on the Facebook side, gives you a lot of flexibility.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
yeah, it's fun.
So let's start by kind of telling people what the point of social media is for business. So we all kind of know how it works from a personal perspective. You know, you want to keep in touch with your high school friends or your college friends or whatever, but tell us how you do it for business. What is the purpose of social media for business?
Sure. I mean, I think, you know, when social media kind of first got started, it was more of a nice to have or a luxury to have a social media presence or a Facebook page. Those days are done. It is now a have to have. You must be on social media. You must have a Facebook page. It's almost replaced the yellow pages, if you will. Like it's kind of where people go to validate what is this company, what's their phone number, where are they located. So even just the basics of understanding where a business is, kind of in tandem with a Google search. People are looking on Facebook more times than not to kind of understand the business basics, even to look at someone's website. And then just see, what is this company about? What are they generating in terms of content? What are they talking about? Is this a company that I would like to work with or hire, or products I would like to buy? So it really has become a necessity. And I think, too, when a company takes the time to be thoughtful about the content they're publishing and how they're talking about themselves, you know, more times than not, they're seeing positive engagement. They're seeing engagement from their current customers. They're seeing potential customers starting to engage. And that also gives some of a business validation, and we call it social proof. So when you kind of go to someone's page and you see, hey, they have some followers, they have comments, they have engagement, that's telling me, as someone seeing that business for the first time, that, you know, they're a valid business out in the world. Right.
Yeah, makes sense. So Facebook is really your area of specialty, probably because it's such a powerful tool. But I think a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of business owners think, well, all I have to do is just post something on there, right? But it is such a powerful tool. Can you share a little bit of that with people so they can understand some of the capabilities, the things you can do with Facebook beyond just posting what you had for lunch? You know?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we think of Facebook, so Facebook actually owns Instagram. And when you are running ads on Facebook, it can extend to Facebook, Facebook Messenger. It actually pushes into the Instagram space, all the stories, so Facebook and Instagram stories. And then you can actually serve your campaigns in what's called the audience network. So that's actually the ad space off of social media, so off of Facebook, Instagram. That's really pushing into kind of high quality websites and apps that are going to meet kind of the campaign goals that you set. So Facebook, in terms of an ad portal, is extremely powerful. And there's kind of two sides to social media when we talk about it. From our perspective, you have kind of the front-facing side. So if you were to go to someone's Instagram or if you were to go to someone's Facebook page, you're looking at the published content, and you can kind of go back in time and read through different posts or events kind of being published. Then you have the whole kind of back end, which most people don't see except for the people you're specifically targeting. So Facebook as an ad network really allows very powerful targeting capabilities, very powerful tracking capabilities in terms of understanding what people might be doing on your website if you install a special pixel. And then you can really build very custom audiences. And when you're putting those ad dollars into the platform, saying, hey, Facebook, we want to find people that are very close to our current customers, or we're trying to reach different markets, we can geofence by zip code. So it's a very powerful tool. And in terms of some of the outcomes you might expect from some of these tactics, you know, definitely brand awareness. So getting just your name out there into different markets. You can definitely drive people to your website. So kind of optimizing for what we call landing page views, making sure people are actually getting to your website. You can really come up with really powerful lead campaigns. So driving just leads, driving people down your sales funnel if you have a product you're selling. So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing.
Yeah.
It's such a powerful tool. And so a lot of people, when they're running a business, they're trying to figure out which social media platform should I use, because I hear business owners say frequently, there's so many of them, I can't manage all of them. Which, you know, what do I do? Yeah. So what do you tell people?
Well, as you said, I mean, Facebook is near and dear to our hearts, and we have advertised it across multiple social channels, but we see the return on ad spend just above and beyond when it comes to the Facebook space. And again, when I say Facebook, it does mean all the things I mentioned earlier. So you're pushing to Instagram, you're pushing to the audience network. So you're not just running ads on Facebook, but channeling it through the Facebook ad hub really we see as the best return on an ad spend for clients. And we were looking at some of the most recent Pew Research data, and it's saying now that 70% of US adults are on Facebook, which is basically the top platform after YouTube. I mean, we kind of put YouTube in its own space because it really is, it requires its own strategy and content plan. Video, right. And we've seen over time Twitter really kind of taking a downward turn. I think they were saying like 22% of US adults are in the Twitter space. And we find that that's helpful for some industries, but very specific industries. So in terms of kind of a general place people should be, it used to be Twitter, but now we're seeing that kind of shifting, people shifting away from that. Facebook for sure. We always say start with Facebook, create a Facebook account. And then from there, it's really kind of comes down to Instagram and LinkedIn. I think that Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn is like the powerful three for a company because you're meeting different types of clients in different spaces. But those three we see as a really good combination, starting with Facebook as the first step. And we do recommend a lot of times when people create their business pages to really follow the steps that Facebook gives you, which is going to that business.facebook.com. And
I think that's what we have up on the screen right here for those of you watching on video.
Yeah, and basically you can log in through your personal Facebook login, but it will help guide you through the steps to set up your business page through what Facebook calls the Business Manager platform. So that's kind of the new proper way that you would want to set up your page. And then from there, you can actually assign, if you're working with a company like Meg's or myself, so you would basically assign us as an advertiser on your behalf to help navigate that for you. But you can definitely assign other team members if you're taking it in-house and doing it internally. And then also take the steps to set up what's called your ads manager. And then that really allows you to tap into some of those deeper, more powerful ad tools.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess one of the things, like when I'm working with my clients, we will look at where their customers are coming from, and then we kind of determine what social media, along with everything else they're doing, makes sense for them. So, if you're going after teens, maybe Facebook isn't necessarily the best place. Maybe you're better with a Snapchat. Or if you are strictly business to business, then maybe LinkedIn is just concentrating on that might be important. But I think it's important to know where your audience is, and then find where they are from a social media perspective and meet them there.
Yeah, I mean, and different platforms kind of come and go, and we've seen, Snapchat pop up, and then Instagram stories kind of took a huge bite out of Snapchat. And so it's an interesting space to be in. I mean, honestly, we always tell our clients that we don't always have the answers because it changes so rapidly, but we go to bat for them and try and find those answers as quickly as possible because the platforms are changing. I mean,
so quickly.
Week by week, day by day sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know how you keep up with it all.
It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. And, we work with Facebook directly, and even our agency partner there, changes are happening literally real time. And they're calling us saying, hey, this change was just made today. And we don't know what this means yet, but we'll keep you updated. And so it's a dynamic relationship with these social platforms, and we're always kind of reacting to the ever-changing landscape. But I will say the great thing again about, and of course you'll hear me always coming back to Facebook, but the great thing is that you can really build out the types of audiences that you're hoping to reach through that really powerful ad tool. So again, I think if you're looking at a place to spend your ad dollars, Facebook really just gives you that kind of, like I said, that highest return on ad spend. And it does allow you that really deep targeting capability. So if you are trying to target business owners, you can create a custom audience just for business owners. Or if you're trying to connect more, if you have more of a youth brand, connecting with those types of audiences that you can really custom tailor through the ad side.
Yeah, so. And that makes sense.
Yeah. And that's where I was just going to interject quick and say, the companies I see that that are very successful on Snapchat and Instagram are mainly ones that are trying to create a lifestyle and be they're trying to be like an influencer to younger kids. Like there's a gold chain supply company that I follow that they do most of their advertising on Snapchat and Instagram because that's where their people are, and they're always hanging out with celebrities. So they're just mainly they made like the guy who runs the company kind of like the face of it, more of like an individual who then every once in a while was like, hey, use this promo code and go buy on the website.
Yeah.
But then they also will run the professional Facebook ads that have all their products that you can swipe through, go and shop on their page, but then they supplement it with Snapchat and Instagram. Because that's free. You know, they can freely post on Snapchat and Instagram stories and just get people to follow them, and then they put their money into Facebook.
Yeah.
Well,
that's interesting.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, I think it comes down to the bandwidth that a company has and the resources.
For sure.
So for companies that really want to dive deep into social media, I mean, you can come up with strategies, frankly, for each platform, depending on, again, who you're trying to reach and where it makes sense.
Right.
And you can tweak the content strategy for those platforms because it's exciting and you can reach a lot of people where they are in their social experience. So.
And one of the things people don't really realize, I think, with Facebook is that they think from a personal perspective, if you post something, everybody's going to see it. But on your business page, that's not really true. Facebook has become a pay-to-play. Yeah. And now I think it's like 2 or 3%, right?
It's really low. Yeah. And the algorithm's always changing.
Yeah, and not going up. It's going. Yeah. So it's what I try to advise my clients is if you want to have any sort of presence on Facebook, that you need to put together a budget for it.
Right.
Because posting, it's really a misconception that just because I posted on my business page, all those hundreds of thousands of people are going to see it. Right. It's not true unless you boost that.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, the way we talk about it sometimes is imagine like producing this beautiful television commercial and you're so proud of it and excited to get the word out and then you never put it on air. And you're like, why aren't people calling? What's happening? Why is no one talking about this great ad we produced? And it's because you have to think of Facebook and the social media ad space the same way. You must pay to have eyes, and very targeted eyes, but to have those eyes see the content you're producing. We always tell clients, if you're not going to have ad dollars set aside for our efforts, please don't hire us. We don't want to waste your money because if we're producing content, we're working with photographers or videographers, we're putting all this time and thought around producing this really professional content. If they don't actually boost any of the posts we're producing, like you said,
no one sees it.
So if you have 100 people following your page, 2 or 3 people might see that post. And is it even the 2 and 3 people that matter to moving your business forward? Mm-hmm. So I agree, you absolutely must pay to boost that content. I mean, even if, and we often get asked, how much should we boost? I mean, even if you spent $5, I mean, that's a very low point. Facebook requires a $5 a day spend.
Oh, that's
the minimum. Yeah. So as long as you're doing at least $5, I think that at least it's something. Yeah. And then, Facebook is helpful in the sense that when you start kind of moving up your ad spend, so let's say you want to spend $20 or $150, it kind of gives you this little gauge on the back end and shows you, okay, well, the more money you spend, this is roughly the amount of people you may reach by increasing your budget. So
and it's a big difference, right? I mean, if you're doing $5 and you go to $10, you can see the difference in your audience. It's substantial. And you go to $20 or $30 or $100, it just makes a big, big difference.
It does. I mean, Facebook rewards you for spending money, and it's a great model. I mean, you got to hand it to them. You can literally see as you start typing in the extra zeros, then you realize how quickly you can reach more people. And I think something else to think about too when you're going in and you're boosting, Facebook might default to showing that boost to either people who follow your page or people who follow your page and their friends. And that's fine if you just want to get some engagement and some clicks or likes on your post. But you have to take a step back and think, are the people following my page or are their friends the people I'm actually trying to reach? Mm-hmm. And if the answer is no, or if you're unsure, then that may not be the best way to direct that boost. You may want to take a couple extra steps to create a custom audience and think about, okay, if I am going to put money against this, if I am going to push this post out into the world and get more eyes on it, what eyes do I want? Yeah. Who do I want to see this?
For like the less tech savvy listeners, can you maybe explain a little bit the difference between just boosting your post right on your page and then actually doing something in the ads manager?
Yeah,
because that was one big major thing that somebody explained to me a year ago that just blew my mind.
Yeah. I mean, and in some ways, when you think about it, boosting a post almost turns it into an ad. Now with the capabilities of what Facebook gives you, it's gotten pretty sophisticated from a boosting. You'll see a little kind of button under your post that says Boost Post. And so when you click on that, it opens up a menu bar kind of on the left-hand side of your screen if you're looking at desktop. And at least right now, when we're doing this interview, it gives you the option of basically having a drop-down where you can embed what's called a CTA button, a call to action button. So you can immediately say, hey, learn more, shop now, call now. Right. You have different CTAs that will populate, and those are ever changing. They continually seem to tweak and add to those, which is nice. But so you can embed a call to action button right in your post, and you'll see that kind of published along the bottom side of that post. And then you can select if you're, the ad account that you're going to be kind of tracking this through. And that's the importance of setting up that ads manager we talked about a little earlier on. And then it also gives you your daily budget, again, that $5, and then kind of scaling up from there. And then it really shows you a menu of options of the audiences that you want to target. And it pulls in any custom audiences you've built, or you can kind of tweak right then and there who you want to connect with. When you're going, in terms of back to your question on the ads manager, that definitely takes a different path. So you want to go in through your business manager, you want to go through your ads manager and really kind of select the outcome or kind of the path you want to take customers down. And it gives you a lot more options when you're building ads kind of on the back end of Facebook. So
you see an advantage with the ads manager over just boosting?
For sure. Yes, absolutely. I mean, you can drive more traffic to your page. So if you're interested in getting just in general more followers, you can have a kind of a like campaign or a follower campaign. We recommend for companies to always be driving traffic to their website. That's normally a business goal that all of our customers seem to have. So really looking strategically at where do we want to drive people, but getting them those landing page views, and then more of that kind of conversion objective. So what are you really trying to achieve at the end of that funnel? Is it, more sales if you have a product or service? Is it more leads? So it's kind of walking people through that path.
And so you made me think of something else. I hear a lot of clients of mine saying, I want to get more people following our page. How do you recommend they do that? I mean, that's one thing that I think a lot of business owners are challenged by.
Yeah.
I want more, I'm putting out good content, but I want more people to see it.
So there's a few answers to this question. When we speak with Facebook directly, they try and steer us away from follower campaigns. They say, hey, if you have ad dollars, we really think you should focus on the deeper business objectives. We don't often agree with them on this because so many of our clients do find value in seeing that validation, like we talked about. The number of followers on your page going up is meaningful for them, especially if you're starting from scratch and you have no followers. How does that look for a company, or if a customer's coming and checking out a business, if they only have 12 followers, you might say, how long has this business been around, and do they have their kind of act together? So we feel as a company that it is valuable. So we do kind of nurture that conversation and make recommendations. So on the Facebook side, Facebook does give you the power to create a follower or a like ad, where, right in the CTA it says like page. So that really, we do see growth happening from that. There's a kind of a little organic workaround that we, as of recently, Facebook has really allowed more companies to take advantage of. If you look in the on your feed, and you actually go into one of your posts and you see the number of people who have engaged with that post. So let's say you have 100 likes on a post. You can actually click in and it pulls up the list of people who have specifically engaged with that post. Right. And now it gives you the option to actually invite them from there to like your page. And it's allowing you to do that through the voice of the page. It used to just be like, if I was an ads manager admin, it would say, well, Catherine Harrell's inviting you to like this company page, which of course, no one wants that. They want it to come from the voice of the company. Right. So Facebook has tweaked that, I'd say in the past, 6 to 8 months, is allowing that feature now. So then that person will actually get an email in their inbox, whatever's linked to their Facebook profile, saying, hey, so-and-so invited you to like their page. So that's a really nice organic workaround. Yeah. Right now, Facebook lets you invite a max of 100 people a day. So try and keep count. You kind of get into spam territory, they've said, once you kind of hit over that 100 mark. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're going through and doing some manual invites.
Yeah.
Instagram is much harder. Instagram right now does not allow you to have a follower campaign like Facebook does.
Okay.
We've racked our brains. We've worked with Facebook because, of course, everyone wants more followers.
Yeah,
On
right.
Instagram, it's definitely much more of a deeper earned platform in terms of your followers. There is something, though, if you do link your Instagram account into your ads manager, which Facebook can kind of walk you through with the business.facebook.com. But there is a way in-app, so when you have to go through your mobile phone, there is a way to create a boosted kind of post or campaign right in the app, driving people back to your Instagram profile. So right now, that's kind of the closest thing we've come up with that helps to drive more traffic back to your account and hopefully generate more followers.
Great. That's great stuff. So what are your thoughts, or what are you seeing with companies in terms of having a social media policy? So a lot of the folks that we're talking to today or listening to us are business owners. And as a business owner, that can get kind of sticky.
Sure.
So what do you recommend as far as having a social media policy for a company?
I definitely think it's important now more than ever. I think that people now, when they're applying for jobs, people are checking them out on social media.
Absolutely.
And, it's a very gray area because it is a personal space where people should have the freedom to post and express themselves. But they need to also keep in mind that, anything they're posting a lot of times could become public domain or could be seen by a current or potential employer. And so I think for companies, it is good to work with their HR team or their legal team to kind of put some thoughts down on paper and say, hey, what are we comfortable with, or what are we asking our employees to follow in terms of what is reflective of our company. So I do think that is an important conversation to have. And then I think also making sure that you're giving just a small circle of people access to your business page.
But
really
not
limiting
everyone
that.
in the company can put anything they want.
Correct. I think it's really taking the steps to limit what administrators are being assigned. We recommend when you're setting up the page through the business manager and ads manager, someone actually has to quote unquote own the page, at least right now. So we recommend linking that to someone. It's either a founder of the company or someone that isn't going anywhere and has a vested interest in the longer term life of the company. So
makes
And not
sense.
just like an intern.
correct.
Yeah,
Yep.
right. Yeah.
Yep.
Might have a grudge.
Yeah. It is. We've seen over time, disgruntled people who have been given access change Instagram passwords and lock out former employers, and
wow.
it can be really tricky. So I think that making sure that you're giving access to the right people is an important conversation to have.
Yeah, I think that's important. So talk a little bit about the importance of consistency, because I see that as a big issue. We've all done it where we look at somebody's, we don't know about this company, so we look at their Facebook page and we see they haven't posted anything in 3 months. And you think, are they still out there? Are they, what's going on with them? Talk about the importance of that.
Yeah, consistency is key in the social space because you're competing with so much content. And now most people are consuming a lot of this content via their mobile devices, so they're scrolling through, and so many companies are pushing ads in front of their faces, and then you're also competing with the content from their friends or influencers they're following. And so you have to be publishing on a consistent basis, because I think then the people who are following or the people who are excited about the message you're putting out, they want to hear from you. They want to know what's happening with your company. So we recommend definitely working on an editorial calendar and a content strategy. That's probably one of the first steps that we recommend when people are thinking about taking on social media, is really sitting down with, you could even print out a calendar for the upcoming month. And we always try and work a month in advance with our clients, because you can really get ahead of some exciting initiatives or events happening or product launches. So you can give ample time to promote these, exciting moments that would make sense to talk about on social media. So, sitting with kind of your key stakeholders or your marketing team, printing out that calendar and thinking, okay, what is coming up that we want to talk about that would be meaningful or that would matter to our current followers or prospective customers, and think about when you're posting. So then when the day comes, you're not scrambling to get a post up, or you're thinking like, oh man, we should have talked about that. That would have been a great post. So
right. And everybody's done that, where you think of it afterwards.
Right.
Like, we should have done that, but you missed the boat.
That's another really safe way to, for leadership that may be a little more apprehensive about social media, showing them that you have a content plan in advance so that there aren't any surprises.
That's a good suggestion.
Yeah, it really kind of calms everyone's feelings about the content you're publishing because they've had a chance to see it in advance. Mm-hmm. You collectively as a team can say like, yes, this is reflective of our brand. Mm-hmm. It's a consistent tone. It matches our other marketing material. So it's really putting our best face forward as a company.
Yeah, and I think that's a great suggestion too, because people are, I think one of the big objections to doing social media is the time commitment. Mm-hmm. People are afraid of it. Like if I decide I'm going to do this, it's going to take me a lot of time. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a great suggestion, is putting together a content calendar, and you sit down and you figure it out, and then you kind of have it done for a while.
Yep, exactly.
And most of the platforms now do allow you to schedule those posts. Mm-hmm. Not everybody knows that. So that makes it easier too. You could sit down at the beginning of the month, you can plan it all out, and you can build it all and schedule them, and then not touch it again for another month.
Exactly. I mean, and there are a lot of free or low-cost tools as well. I mean, there's Hootsuite, there's Sprout Social, Buffer's another one, depending on how many platforms you're on and depending on your marketing goals and your social media goals. Like you said, I mean, that could just be a few hours of someone's time to sit down and kind of schedule everything in, and then it's planned for the month, it's going to go live.
Yeah. That takes a little bit of the pressure off of saying, 3 days a week, I have to sit down and figure this out, Yeah. I think it helps. Yeah. So, Catherine, this is the point in our podcast where we give everybody like 3 takeaways that they can sort of implement into their business this week based on some of the things we talked about. Yeah. And so you had a couple ideas, so we'll share them with us.
Yeah, I think in terms of takeaways, I think just starting with a Facebook page and just getting it published. So if you don't have a page yet, just publish that page. That's your step number 1. If you have a page published, make sure that it is migrated over to that business manager, because that's really going to start giving you the power to do that deeper advertising that we talked about, that deeper audience targeting. So going to that business.facebook.com and setting that up is a great first step. I think step number 2 is just as you're kind of embarking on deeper social media publishing, talk to your team and develop a little bit of a strategy. Think about that editorial calendar like we talked about. Have your posts planned. I'd say also thinking about a budget. So knowing going into a month how much you as a company are comfortable spending would also be another important step. So again, no one is surprised. Your accountant's not surprised. Leadership isn't surprised.
And you're not surprised when no one sees it. If you don't put the budget behind it, you're not going to see the results that you're looking for.
Yep, exactly. So I think that's another really important part is budgeting. And then I think maybe the last thing is kind of going in with your eyes wide open, understanding what your goals are and what your hopes are from social media. And like you said, really making sure that you have a plan together so that those are measurable goals. Right. So whether it's really pushing up brand awareness, driving more traffic to your website, trying to get more leads or online sales, making sure that you have a plan to achieve those goals realistically.
And that, I think, is a really important suggestion, because a lot of people go into social media without a real goal in mind. They're just thinking, well, we'll just start posting and see what happens. Right. But if you have a goal of let's use social media to drive traffic to our website or to whatever it is, whatever they're, make our phones ring or get people to download something, whatever it is, you kind of can't get there without the plan. Right. And social media is no different.
Yep, exactly. A plan is a great idea. And like we said, no one's surprised. And then you're really, you're putting out the content that you feel is truly reflective of your company and your team.
That's great stuff. Well, thank you so much for being here. You had wonderful little nuggets of wisdom in social media for our listeners. So thank you very much for being here today, Catherine.
Thanks so much for having me. I had a great time.
Great. So thank you, Catherine, from Marble and Match, for being with us. And we appreciate your being here today. That's pretty much it for the day. So if you like this podcast, Please be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of the upcoming episodes. Also join our Facebook page, which is Marketing Monday with Meg. It's actually a Facebook group, and you can interact with other business owners and ask questions and get answers. So please be a part of that. And we also have some marketing tips that we send out every Monday morning. It's also called Marketing Mondays with Meg. So if you're interested in that, please go to our website, which is thebrandaccelerator.com, and sign up for that. So thank you again for being with us today at Marketing Mondays with Meg. And thank you, Matt Heyer from Berg Brothers Media, for being with us and contributing today.
Of course.
And until next week, be sure to inspire other business owners, because together we can change the world. See you next Monday.
Woo.
All right.
Good job, Catherine. You're awesome. So that was great.